Have you ever been swept away by someone painting a vivid picture of your future together? Detailed plans, shared dreams, promises that feel so real you could almost touch them, and then those dreams just evaporated, leaving you wondering what happened to all those beautiful tomorrows. If this sounds familiar, you're likely experiencing future faking, one of the most heartbreaking tactics in the narcissist playbook. Today, I'm sharing my story so you can recognize this manipulation before it steals your dreams. Future faking is when someone creates elaborate fantasies about your shared future together, not because they intend to make them happen, but because they need you emotionally invested and compliant right now. And future faking is a companion to the love bomb. I'm Grace Channing. I have a new book coming out soon about my life with a narcissist. And I wrote that book for other people who have found themselves trying to navigate a toxic relationship. Let me share one of my own experiences with you. When I first met my narcissist, Neil, from our very first few months together, he painted the most intoxicating pictures of our life ahead. Why? He would say with a mischievous grin. Because we can. And that became his catchphrase for all the adventures that we'd have. The lazy Sundays curled up in our new home. The breathtaking fishing trips that we would take off of the boat that we were planning to purchase together. He described in detail beautiful trips that we would take. He talked about the kitchen where we would cook together every night, the garden we would tend, the memories we would make. Neil would point at beautiful things in stores and say, one day, when we share a home, we should consider getting something like that. These weren't casual comments. They were detailed, passionate visions that made my heart soar. I could see it also clearly because he painted every scene with such conviction and such clarity and passion for building a wonderful life together. But here's what I didn't understand then. He was using my own dreams as bait. The future faking reached its peak when we decided to buy a house together. Neil suggested that we combine our assets to purchase our dream home. I threw myself into this vision completely. We had spent weekends exploring potential homes, and we finally found the perfect one. It was still under construction, but we had such wonderful times visiting design studios, picking out the finishes for our new under construction home. His tastes seemed to match mine perfectly. He would take my hand as we walked through stores, dreaming out loud about our life that we would build together. I felt like I was floating on air. I put all of my savings into a joint investment account, which was a substantial amount that covered the total and hefty down payment and closing costs. I trusted him completely because we were building our forever together. When we moved into our beautiful new house, it was everything we had dreamed of. It was new, it was fresh, it was perfect. Neil took over the backyard, creating this stunning sanctuary with water features, a custom-made pergola, a granite fire table. It was gorgeous. But here's where the future faking revealed its true purpose. The moment we were settled, the moment I was financially and emotionally invested, everything changed. Suddenly, All those beautiful plans that we made together became nothing. The romantic trips we discussed never happened. When I took the initiative to plan our first getaway since purchasing the house to California, upon our return, Neil exploded in rage when we got back home. The rage seemed to be about the money we had spent, but it was really much deeper than that. The cozy evenings cooking together, they turned into his domain where I was merely an audience to his culinary performance. Those lazy Sunday mornings replaced with his rages that could erupt without warning. Our shared future became his controlling presence. I realized I wasn't his partner in building dreams. I was his financial investor and emotional supply, trapped in a house that represented not our love, but my chains. The most painful part, when I did try to reference our original plans, he looked at me like I was delusional. I never said that, or that's not what I meant, became his standard response. The dreams he painted so vividly were now fragments of my imagination. Future faking is devastatingly effective because it hijacks our natural human tendency to hope and dream. When Neil painted the beautiful pictures of tomorrow, I was naturally invested in those visions, emotionally, financially, and completely. There are many facets to this future faking, but one of the undercurrents of this form of abuse is the sunk cost syndrome in the relationship. And here's what that looks like. Once you've invested your money, your time, and your emotional energy into what seems like a shared vision, walking away feels like losing everything that you've worked towards. Neil understood this perfectly. He knew that once I put my life savings into our shared dreams, once I emotionally committed to our future, that I would be much less likely to leave when his true nature emerged. The future faking also serves another crucial purpose. It prevents you from seeing present moment red flags. When you're focused on the beautiful tomorrow that they're promising you, you are ignoring the ugly reality of today. You will tell yourself the bad moments are just temporary bumps in the road to your perfect future. Let me tell you what future faking does to your soul. It doesn't just break your heart, it shatters your ability to trust your own judgment about love and relationships. I remember sitting in that house that we bought, surrounded by all the beautiful things that we'd chosen for the new home, feeling completely alone and bewildered. How had I gone from planning our perfect life to walking on eggshells, afraid of his next explosion? The worst part was the self-doubt. Had I imagined all those conversations? Had I misunderstood his intentions? When someone systematically denies the promises they made, you start questioning your own memory, your own perceptions. I spent months ruminating, trying to figure out when things had changed, what I had done wrong. I didn't understand then that nothing had changed. The future he painted was never real to begin with. Looking back, there were signs I wish I would have recognized. Future faking often comes with specific patterns. The promises are often grandiose and perfectly tailored to your deepest desires. Neil knew I was all in on building a life together with a beautiful future. So he painted pictures of exactly what that life would look like. The timeline was always vague. Someday, when we, once we, but no concrete dates or actionable steps were ever initiated. Most telling, he became angry or dismissive when I would try to make those future plans myself. Here's what I wish I'd paid attention to. Neil's future faking was always tied to getting something from me in the present moment. When he painted pictures of our shared home, I opened my savings account. When he described our perfect partnership, I defended him to concerned friends. I even bankrolled a business to help him out of his dreaded corporate job. I also should have noticed that his visions required very little from him, but a significant sacrifice from me. I was putting in the money, doing the hard work in the business, making the compromises, defending the relationship, while he just painted pretty pictures and raged, alternating between the two. And perhaps most importantly, someone who truly wants to build a future with you, they will take concrete steps towards that future, not just talk about it. They'll make sacrifices too. They'll show up constantly and welcome your input in making those dreams a reality. If you suspect you're experiencing future faking, start paying attention to the gaps between the words and the actions. Are they taking concrete steps towards the future that they're describing, or are they just talking about it? Notice if their beautiful promises always seem to require something from you first. Your money, your compliance, your patience, your isolation from others. Trust your instincts when something feels off. If you find yourself constantly waiting for someday while being asked to sacrifice in the present, that's information. Most importantly, don't make major life decisions based on someone else's promises about the future. Let them prove their intentions through sustained, consistent actions over time. The house we bought together, it became my prison, not our palace. But selling it and walking away taught me something valuable. My real future was the one that I created for myself, not the one someone else painted to control me. If you're living in someone else's beautiful vision of tomorrow while suffering through an ugly today, please consider that the future that they're promising might just be another tool of control. In my book, I share the complete story of how future faking trapped me and how I finally broke free to build a life based on reality and not on promises. Your real future, the one based on genuine love and mutual respect, is still out there waiting for you. Don't let someone else's false promises keep you from reaching it. You deserve dreams that become reality, not beautiful lies that steal your present. Do you have a future faker in your life? Share your comments and subscribe. We have a lot more to talk about, and we are just getting started here.